Foiled. Welcome to February team meeting. We have a lot of fun stuff planned for you today. If you haven't already, go back just real quick. Make sure you scan the QR code. So if you get here early, you get to have your jams played while we're warming up for team meeting. So that's for everybody to collaborate with. We play this playlist during team meeting as we're warming up for other events during lead gen, group lead gen. So if you want your song played, just like when you're at the bar and you're waiting for touch tunes, scan this. This is our free version of touch tunes. So I like to see what y'all, try to keep it like PG-13-ish, just for everybody in the room. All right, next slide, please. TCPA. So call me maybe. It's call me yes. If they have opted in to call, then you call. If they have not opted in, we don't call. But if you want to learn more, there are additional resources. This is very real. We are seeing more and more cases about TCPA compliance. So as much as I joke about it, it is very serious. So make sure you're following those guidelines. We would love to welcome, where's the camera at? Welcome to our Zoom participants. I know we've got them from Chambersburg all the way up to Lebanon. So thank you all for being here today. Core focus. So we all know we've beaten this to death, right? Our core focus is to empower people to reach their goals and dreams. But what does that really mean? So I'm curious, I know some stories, but they're not my stories to tell. Who in here either has a story that they'd like to share about how being in this environment has empowered them, or maybe that they've seen about somebody else? Again, I have a couple in my head that I could share, but I'm curious what the room has to say. Where have you seen empowerment in action? Bless you.
I'll go, since no one wants to go.
Thank you.
So in June, I will have been an agent for 4 years. My first year I did production, I didn't really love it. And then after that, I got into admin work. And from where I was 2.5 years ago to this year, we'll gross over $1.2 million as a company. We're in 10 market centers right now. We're growing into 5 states. And that would not have been possible had I not been with Keller Williams. So I'm extremely grateful for being in the environment. I would not have the connections or the networking that I have now, had it not been for people like Brittany, Tammy, Matt Madden, everyone who's helped along the way. And so I'm very appreciative of KW for that. And that's how they've empowered me.
I love that. Thank you. Judah.
Hi, this sounds super lame, so please forgive me right up front. But my dream is not having a Ferrari or buying a bunch of toys or anything like that. My dream is literally to have an awesome time with the people that I work with. I think that there's a lot of negative stereotypes that realtors have worked really hard on cementing for the past 50 years. And I don't feel that that's true with this group of people or with our team on Google Live and Associates. So just the other day, going out to eat together, sharing a meal together, having some drinks, going to the casino, we do stuff like that on our team. For me, that's my dream, is like genuinely building a group of people that I consider friends and enjoying working with and everything like that. I understand how many cheesy that sounds. Please forgive me, but that's literally negative.
I love that. I love that. Taryn.
So you have empowered me so much, Brittany, in that when I come to you with like things that were heavy and burdensome and I didn't know how to tackle, like you give me action steps. So like the big goals, the monthly goals, the daily and weekly things that I can be doing, to where I feel like I have a little more control over some things that wasn't like taking agency or didn't feel like I had agency in. So I really appreciate that, like coaching has been huge for me. So thank you.
I love that. Thank you so much. Yeah, and that's what it's about. Thank you. Yeah. It's so much more than just words. And so that's what we wanted you to feel today. Like we take that very seriously. And a lot of the numbers that we track are seriously to know, like, are the numbers telling us that we're empowering and changing people's lives or not? Next slide, please. Hugs and kisses. So who in our world has shown some of these core values that you would like to give a hug or a kiss to? Kiss meaning Hershey kisses.
I have chocolate.
Heather.
Tracy gets a kiss. Amy gets a kiss. Do you like dark chocolate?
Yeah, I would love to give one to Braddock and Julie Hess for leading coffee and conversations today. I was in a pinch this morning and they jumped right in. And so thank you so much. Oh, please.
Judah, because you came and you did hang with us, and I thought that was great. Even though the table was intimidating me too. Intimidated, but Judah would sit down and watch people nag and.
Yeah, it was
I
great.
like that.
We had so much fun that night.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Brittany.
Thank you. Yes, thank
Oh,
you. Yes.
oh, yes. Thank you for calling that out,
Thank
Angie.
you.
More sugar.
Taking a peek
Just what you need.
around the room really quickly. Yes, I'd like to give Skylar one for growth mindset. She is hustling
Yes, she is.
post baby.
Yes, she is.
Yes.
You're welcome.
Hey, Brittany, here's one as your chef, but about the chicken. She is always so enthusiastic when you call and respond.
Oh, thank you. She's crunching away back there, but thank you. Yeah, she's been amazing. Thank you. This was good stuff.
Of course you
Oh,
do.
I-
Yeah.
I love that. And what about one for Damaris for collaborative, always helping any agent, but definitely our newer to business agents when they need an extra hand.
Okay. I'll make sure she gets one. Yeah, I'll make sure she gets it.
We'll make sure. Next slide. Ooh, core value agents of the month. Can we just take a moment? I love this song. I feel bad for the Zoom room. All right.
All right. Who nominated this month? Could you two come up, please?
Oh, yes. Sorry. This
Could
is
you
why
two
she
come up,
runs
please?
this slide and not me.
So last month's core value winners were Ben and Amy. And so this month's award winners are
Mine is for Ella.
Ella! Who just walked out. Ella!
Ella's super positive. She's always eager to learn. We collaborated a little bit on Facebook groups and things like that. She's just so hardworking. So.
I love that. I love that. I love that. Thank you. Congratulations. And Miss Amy, before I advance the slide, who's yours? What? Renee. There she comes. Yay!
So much when I see her at the front desk when I enter, and I think that she does that for our culture, for everybody that comes in here. She really does make you feel like thank you.
I love that.
Thank you to last month. Congratulations to this month.
No pressure to Renee to pick next month's core value.
Right?
Woo.
Yeah, for real.
I would not want to be in that hot seat. Some welcomes.
Welcomes.
And welcome back. That should have been the song.
Welcome back.
Welcome back, Miss Karen Agar. We are so excited. Actually, when I saw we get background onboarding emails, and I got the alerts that Karen Agar was coming back, and I was like, oh. So I started texting her, and I was like, I won't tell anybody, I swear. So I was very excited to see that.
And then Christina Kerrigan also joined the Dave Hook team. She has an interesting story. If you get an opportunity to talk with her, I would take that opportunity. Her background's pretty cool, and how she came to be a part of the Dave Hook team is also really cool.
And then, of course, Adrian Weldon, officially a licensed realtor. Yes. So for those of you who have been hiding under a rock or you don't read your emails, Adrian is going to be going into real estate full time. She's burning the ship, but not the bridge. And she's going to be staying with us through about the end of March to help us with our transition as we find a new agent services coordinator. But then we get to support her in a whole new way, being one of our Chambersburg agents. So
send me all your referrals. All your referrals. I'll take
Don't drive to Chambersburg when you don't have to.
Yeah, amen.
And thank you to our growth partners, Dave Hook and Miss Ashley, for helping attract new to KW and new to Dave Hook team agents. You too could be a growth partner with sending us referrals. And then I'd love to congratulate Miss Maggie, who is not feeling well today. So Gary, you get to come on up.
Gary's like, oh man. Poor Maggie. I think she was supposed to be in the Zoom room, so hopefully she is. She sees this.
Got you, Maggie.
We're sending her love and well wishes. Yes.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Let's give her a round of applause, please. Yes. Maggie is earning 100% of her commissions, which is awesome.
Oh, my speaker.
Yay! Love that. Love that. Love that. Love that.
All right.
Ooh.
Top producers. We had fun with the playlist, guys. So over here, we have our top 5 groups, teams, and individual agents for volume. And then top 5 for groups, teams, and agents for units. So what we wanted to do was try to condense everybody so that way when we shout you out to the world on social media, you don't have to scroll 20 times until you get your graphic. We want your face front and center. So let's just give everybody a round of applause.
Yeah, great job.
Seriously. And then those who have earned into KW Luxury. So you have to have sold 4 homes over $700,000 in the last 24 months to earn your way into KW Luxury. We are going to check this for you monthly. So maybe you're like, oh, I got that deal about to close. You too might get to earn in to KW Luxury. This does give you access to luxury marketing. That's not available for everybody else. So if you have more questions on what this can open up for you, just send me an email. I have an ambassador that I can connect you with. So let's give everybody on this board a round of applause. Ooh, Ignite After Dark. I'll let you take this.
Okay, if you're on this slide, please come to the front of the room.
Jamie,
Oh, I see you.
Jamie,
I see
Jamie.
you. I see you. So for those of you that don't know or don't read your emails, Ignite After Dark started at the beginning of the year, and it was all online, and it was 2 evenings a week. The intent was really to 3 evenings a week. The intent was to capture dual career agents, right? How many of us are dual career agents? Like, we have a large population that are dual career. We had about 15 agents plug in, and these 5, I am incredibly proud to say, had an attendance of 80% or better, including, I believe, Mr. Jamie, who had perfect attendance. Is that right? I think he did.
I think
So
he did.
we want to congratulate you on that, Jamie, and the others on our slides, Jennifer, Rick, Tammy, and Robin, who all really committed to their business. Let's give them a round of applause, please.
Jamie. Real quick, Jamie, what did you get out of Ignite? Like if somebody hasn't taken it yet, what's one thing that you would tell them why they should take it?
I think a lot of it is stuff that might be obvious, but you kind of overlook.
Oh, I love that.
Kind of get overwhelmed with coming into, to such a big change. But it kind of taught me to slow down and just go with what you can do with what's available to you at the time.
I love that.
Yeah.
So,
I appreciate that.
instead of trying to do that big rock, just kind of chop it up into small until you get to it.
Yeah.
I love that.
Would you recommend it to other agents?
Absolutely.
You would? Well, lucky for everyone in this room.
Wouldn't you know?
All of the recordings have been loaded into Thinkific. If you want to do Ignite After Dark on your own schedule, at your own time, at your own pace, we have that system set up for you inside of Thinkific. You can scan the QR code, reach out to me. I'll make sure you get access to it. You can go through everything that Jamie and our other agents went through as well.
Yes.
Can I ask a question?
Please.
Yes.
How is Ignite After Dark different than Legacy event, or is it not any different? We're just changing it.
They normally every year they revamp it so that way it's relevant for the market that we're
So
experiencing.
these are all new, so like
All-
I went to Ignite 2 years ago.
Totally different.
These are new presenters, new people, you totally different perspective. Yeah.
Yeah, some of the
Yeah.
material may be the same, but they're adding in more like social media and what they're seeing working right now.
Technology.
So it's not
AI.
the same
Yeah.
stuff from 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Even 2 years ago.
Yeah. Good question. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, Brett, I'm gonna let you take this one.
January stats. All right. So January is always a slower month. We know that it's winter, and yet we had another record-breaking month in January. So what that means is this was the highest January for Keller Williams Central PA ever, which is great because it means you're growing during a time that's typically slow. So what does that mean? I look at this. This is my report card as your team leader. Are my agents growing? Are they producing? If they're producing and they're making money, does that mean I'm most likely empowering people to reach their goals and dreams? Yes. So good job to everybody. We closed 111 units in January. And if we go to the next slide, you can see where the gray is bright MLS. So where the market is down, we're down just a little bit. So we're still, even when you see it downward, the fact that we're down only 1.7% versus say 8.8% or 15.1%, we're outpacing the market in the sense that, yeah, we had a slower month, but not as bad as the rest of the market. So what that tells me as your team leader is what activities you all are focusing on is working. I don't know about you, but when I drive around, I am seeing more and more and more KW signs everywhere. And that is amazing. Where I do want to point out, your closed units were up 16.8%. So in a down month overall, KW was up in units. And that's what we want to focus on in a shift. So don't look at volume as much. It's important, but your real focus needs to be on the units, because if you stay focused on the units, the rest of your goals should fall into place. If you only focus on volume, you can get behind real fast. So that's what that means. Next slide. So did Scott, was he able to make it, or am I broker today? Okay, so pretend that I'm Scott. I have a message from Scott. He was hoping he could get here today, but if he couldn't, I said, I got you, Scott. So the thing that we're seeing is we're waiting too long to call Scott. So the theme song that was playing was I'll Be There For You by Friends. He really is there for you. And so if you start to have a deal just start to go sideways, call him. What we're seeing is we're waiting until it is flushing down the toilet, and there's like the emotions at this point are so hot that it's a lot harder to reel it back in and secure it to close. So he's your friend. He is here for you. Call him, text him, email him. He is absolutely happy to give you a hand. So that was his message. I asked him what's the one thing that I could say to the room, and he said, just tell them to call me. Come on up, vendors. Where's my phone? We had to get some Backstreet Boys in here, guys. We could have let that play.
Yeah, I know. You let the whole thing play.
I know. I love it. I had a lot of fun. Okay, so what we want to see right now is our vendors typically get to see the inside workings of a lot of our transactions, being that they are our preferred vendors. And so what I wanted to do is just a quick 5-minute brief on what are we seeing working in transactions right now that the rest of the room may benefit from hearing today. And don't worry about, oh, can I put your mic, Adrian, on fake mic? And then Ben's got it. Can they just hold it? It's all good.
Yeah, this is your mic.
The magnet's not working.
For me, I'm seeing a lot of offers that are contingent on selling their home. That's starting to come back. And then I'm also seeing, I've just recently pre-approved a handful of people that are doing 100% financing. And those are also coming back. So we're starting to see the buyers have a little bit more flexibility in the offers that they're making and getting accepted. So if you have anyone that's maybe a little slim on cash and can't make a down payment, have them give me a call. I can take a look at it.
I love that. That's great news.
I'd probably say what I'm seeing a lot of is inspections. So 10-day inspection periods are hard right now with inspectors to get scheduled in time. So a lot of extensions having to happen for those.
Yeah, and the other thing that we're seeing that's working is moving out your closing date. If you have a government loan, specifically if you have inspections or something is coming up, especially with appraisals, pushing out that date from a 30-day to like a 40-day or 45-day, because it's going to get pushed anyways. So, creates less tension when you're already handling that upfront.
Anything else not working? So we did a working. So working, what I hear is buyers have more flexibility. You can have more contingencies. Inspections are coming way back. And I hear that 100% financing is making its way back in. With the 100%, are you seeing USDA, FHA, VA?
Yep,
okay, so some of those options might start coming back on the table for you. Gary.
Something that I've noticed in transactions that you have to be careful, and the attorney for the association just wrote about it in yesterday's letter. Everybody wants their offer to shine when they're competing. And you want to kind of glaze over inspections. So you say, inspections are for informational purposes only. We won't come after you unless the cost of something is $2,500. You can't write that stuff. The contract says if you have an inspection, the buyer can terminate. So as a listing agent, do not accept those kinds of offers. You're violating the code of ethics because you wrote legal language. Two, it conflicts with what the contract already says. So either have inspections and just follow the process, or waive inspections and make your offer stronger, but feel what your buyer can do, because agents are writing language, then the inspection happens, then the buyer terminates because they're allowed to terminate, and the repairs weren't the dollar amount listed, but it doesn't matter, and now your seller, as the listing agent, has an inspection report to give to the next buyers. So as listing agents, watch for those that language in your contracts when it comes to inspections. Julie and Chris, I'm sure you're seeing this, and agents are allowing it. And as a buyer's agent, don't do it. Talk to your buyers. Either can have an inspection or waive it. It's something you can't commingle and say, You know, we used to have a contract that said unless repairs equal this amount of money, the buyer will accept the house, but that was taken away. Now it's just a take it, leave it, or negotiate inspection. So I'm seeing a lot of that to make offers stronger. I don't know about you guys, Julie, and I appreciate your comments. Do you see any of that?
Yeah, so that was gonna be what's not working is agents are writing things up that can't be enforced. And when we have a conversation with Scott, then it's like, well, they shouldn't have wrote that to begin with, or they wrote it in the wrong spot. Like they're adding inspection contingencies that kind of conflict with the contingencies that are already written in the contract. And they're adding like a special due diligence period almost that doesn't really exist and conflicts with the original forms. We're having people not understand the appraisals, even though they kind of made it more layman's terms now. So what's not working is like, make sure that you have a second set of eyes on what you're sending over in an offer. If you have never written it before, or even if you have written it before, like maybe what you're writing is not acceptable in today's market. And just go back to your forms. The people have a large misunderstanding of what the forms do. And those forms are there for a reason. It's leverage, it's opportunity to make your deal either more appealing or more favorable to either your client or the house that you're purchasing. But if you don't know what you're writing, it makes it kind of difficult, especially when you get something ratified and then you send it to us or you send it to your in-house TC. It kind of makes it hard to reverse what you've done.
Yeah, don't write in, like call Scott and say, this is what I want the end result to be. Is there a form that I can use that already accomplishes this goal? And if you do need to have a blank addendum with written language, Scott has to be the one to help you with that, or an attorney, because we are not attorneys and we're also not brokers. So back to calling Scott early, he will help you work through that, and just knowing what your contract says. Angie.
The only other thing I would add is make sure your timelines work for you guys, especially if I didn't realize that if it's taking more time to get inspections scheduled, then maybe give yourself enough time. Because sometimes if I know that the buyer is kind of really banking on a solid inspection to buy the house, and they're kind of like, well, if this doesn't pass, I might not order the appraisal right away, because I don't want them to waste the $600 to get an appraisal ordered and then they cancel and then they can't get their money back. So like, make sure you're buffering enough time in your contract for that kind of thing. And then also I've had some people that made their mortgage contingency a week after the contract was signed. And while we can give one to you, it's gonna have a lot of stuff on it because it's only been 7 days. So just keep that in mind when you're writing mortgage contingencies. Usually like a week or two before closing is a little bit nicer to give to your listing agent.
That's a great point. I love that. Any questions from the room while you've got them here? Leah.
I have to pay them when it gets ordered. So like they will not send it to it. My AMCs won't send it to be assigned to an appraiser unless it's paid for.
Good question.
Unless it's VA. VA, they don't pay for it until closing.
Good questions. All right. Good job, guys. Thank you so much. You're welcome. Sorry, little dance up here. Upcoming events that we want to make sure you're paying extra attention to. Rapid fire, kind of. All right, MAPS Grow Your Pipeline calls on Thursdays. The next two are February 19th and 26th. I cannot guarantee that I can get a MAPS coach to do them in March. So these have all been volunteer calls for the entire year so far. Who has been on this call that can speak to the value that it's providing? Damaris.
First, but I think I've not gone to 3 calls so far, but I love the sheet that she sent us about your pipeline. Like that visual, putting it out there and looking at it every day is a game changer. I have it in my CRM, but I don't know, something's different about me opening up my computer and looking at my potential pipeline. I feel like that's people go through the cracks if you put them in that.
like you can see it all in one spot, and you can see like how much money that pipeline could potentially be if you work it. Anybody else want to add just any value?
Well, and
that
I
you're
just love
getting?
the fact that the sorting feature in that pipeline just makes sure that you can see who's active, who's not. Like it just flowed really, really nicely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So be on those calls. They are in the digital training room. When I'm here, I do also live stream it. So you can join me in here, but it is always available in the digital training room. So that way everybody can access it. 9 a.m. Build your business around your life. I was invited to teach at GHAR. So you do have to register for this through your GHAR member portal. It is free. I will be going around, going through the top 3 tools that I'm using in my consulting conversations. So if you would like to attend, there's the QR code. I don't get to do this often. So definitely show up. I'm going to talk about how to grow your business. I'm going to talk about kind of what Taryn mentioned about taking your big goals and chunking them down into easy steps. And I'm going to give you 8 tips on how to grow your database. And then there may be mention of time blocking, just a little bit.
All right. Family reunion is coming up. When does it start? Saturday? Sunday. They'll be in Atlanta. Thousands of KW agents will take over the city of Atlanta. You don't have to go to Atlanta to experience family reunion. Just a piece. You get a little piece of it here in the training room. And we're actually going to put it out on the digital Zoom room. They're running 2 specific sessions that are online available. And so Monday morning at 8. And then Tuesday morning at 8:30, I will be here. The live stream will be running in the Zoom room. There may be, donuts and coffee. So please come. And Judah heard coffee and was like, yeah.
The coffee is even better in Atlanta.
Yeah.
But
so please come and join us for this.
So Monday is, you'll get Gary's vision speech. You will also get, usually this is when they go over some of the economic data that's really helpful for you as an agent to also then present to your clients. Remember, part of your job is to be the local economist of choice. So going to seeing those data is really helpful. And then Tuesday morning is called Inspirational Morning. And that's honestly one of my favorite events. Julie's shaking her head yes. Do you mind just sharing a little bit about Inspirational Morning? I did not prep her.
So no interest, right?
Yes.
Yeah, the reason why I like it is that that's what our company is. Bring the whole history and then bring it now in. And we're what God family business. And so she really brings it home. And then for me, it was always like seeing how big we really are and how we do really get like those 18-wheelers are moving like the next morning filled with things, to help families that are, if we have, any hurricanes or anything like that. But then the stories, and see, that's me. I love hearing people's stories. So they usually bring 3 people and, and then, one year they have a little kid and he's singing up there and then this inspirational story and paper tissues and you're crying. And I just think that's what life's all about. So I love it.
Yeah, and it puts life into perspective for you. I was joking with, was it Maddie? Was it you and I the other day talking about something? And we were like, this is a first world problem, right? Like it could be worse. This is a totally fixable issue. We're going to get through it. And there's way worse things happening in the world than this little blip right now. So yeah, those are just huge. So tune in, take advantage. It costs $1,200 to go to family reunion. So to be able to get a slice of it for free is incredible. Next slide, watching the time. Oh, wait. Not yet.
So how many of you know that we have the opportunity to give scholarships for real estate classes?
Did we know that?
Right?
Did we
scholarships for real estate classes. How many of you know that once a month we host a digital Zoom where we go over the requirements, the credentials, the licensing, and what it looks like to partner with KW? And anybody, a KW agent, somebody that you might know, your friends, your family, anybody is welcome to hop on these Zooms with us. So I get calls a lot. I get text messages a lot, people saying like, I think I have someone that wants to do classes. Do I just send them to you? You can, and I just want you to know the process is that Agent Services runs these digital Zooms once a month. We are actually going to be looking at running them in person too. So you can come, bring your people, there'll probably be like pizza and stuff like that. But we want to help your agents, your friends, your family that are interested in getting in the business. We also want to be available to help agents who have gotten into the business and maybe haven't, it's not giving them what they thought it was going to give them, right? They're sort of stuck where they are and just need the tools, the resources, the culture to help them excel in the business. Bring them, invite them. The K-Score scholarship is a small portion of what we go over during these sessions. And so they'll really learn what it looks like to partner with KW and all of the resources that we have available as well.
Love that.
I feel like your brain was going and you had something to add to that.
No, not yet.
Okay.
No.
All right.
March training calendar. Every single class in March is a guest speaker. So time block it, get your booties in here. The 24th, I just want to highlight, and they all should be passed out and in front of you. The 24th from 12 to 1, I would piggyback off of that and make that a VIP event for anybody in your database that you know who owns a small business. We have a gentleman coming in. His name is Nate from Rooted HR. He is going to teach you small business employment law, things that maybe we're not thinking about being small business owners. He is an HR consultant for small businesses that can't afford to have HR departments. So I think that's helpful for us who are growing teams. But also, I think if you're an independent agent, I would call maybe 5 to 10 of my business owners and say, hey, is this something that you'd like to attend? It's free. You get to provide value. It gives you an excuse to reach out, and they're more than welcome to come. So there's no registration. If you're bringing a guest, maybe just let Adrian or I know, because we want to make them feel welcome, and we'll just kind of think about how much food we need. So
ready?
Ready. Oh, yeah. Oh, sorry. Amy was like, yep. Wellness.
So the next, the first Tuesday of the month is Keller Williams Wellness Tuesday. So I wanted to, Brittany's going to help in setting up a group. I haven't been able to formulate a group where we can actually converse on a regular basis for people that are interested in joining us there. So I have a couple suggestions for the next presenter for the wellness meeting on that Tuesday. Should I tell them what opportunities there are, Brittany, and then see for now, or should I just put it out for the group?
Let's start the group. Okay. Yep.
Awesome. So I'm looking for some collaborative, like, yes, let's make this person. So 4 different people that I have on let's say on my horizon as far as being in for a really cool experience. So would love your input.
Thank you. Yeah, and the KW Wellness Men's Health session I hear was fantastic.
It was great.
So we want to bring more of that to you because we know that you can't be the best version of yourself unless you feel good. All right.
Ready?
Now we're ready. Now we're ready. He was supposed to throw it to Ben. All right. So coming from your first string bench warmer, that's right, on the girls' 8th grade basketball team. That's why not all Not all coaches, we're great players, guys. That's all right. No, in all seriousness, you are all signed up. That's right. There's no registration required. You are signed up for March Madness. And what we are going to do is have teams versus teams, groups versus groups, and independent agents versus independent agents. There will be brackets, there will be prizes, and it's whoever signs the most listings in March. Who's ready? That is a dull response for Space Jam and a whistle and my glam hoodie today, guys. No, but we want to make it fun. We know that it's spring market, but that doesn't mean you should take your foot off of the pedal. So make it count. More details to come. Thanks to Angie and Chris, because they are volunteering to help me with some of the score keeping and the data collecting, and they do not have to do that. They are not employees of KWCPA, but I needed a little bit of extra help, so thank you to them.
Who's going to win?
I don't know.
There you go.
That's
Thank you,
right.
Ben. Thank you. We have one competitive person in the room. I don't believe
I'm
that.
shocked.
I don't believe that.
Is
right?
it all the carbs from
Right?
Healthy You Cafe?
Yeah.
I don't know.
All right.
You guys are lucky Ben's not an agent. My Ben.
Ben, yeah, he'd
my
be
Ben
all
isn't
over.
an agent.
We have an award ceremony coming up. You guys look forward to this each and every year. March has 5 Tuesdays. So the 5th Tuesday, the last Tuesday of the month, is going to be our annual awards celebration. There will be awards for production, of course. And then there's going to be my favorite awards, the Kellys, which are based on personality and quirkiness and just ways that our agents contribute in the office in fun ways. So uniqueness. Yeah. So make sure that you have this time blocked. We will be putting out more information. We are still looking for sponsors. If you know of anybody that might want to be a sponsor for our awards ceremony, please send them my way. I'd be happy to talk to them. But make sure you have this on your calendar, please.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, March Madness, there will be a bracket. Yeah.
We don't do things small. But as far as this goes, there will be food, because I know everybody wants to know. Yes, there will be food. And it's going to be Adrian's last award ceremony as an agent services coordinator. This has been her baby every year since she joined us. So come show her some love. I don't put this together. I show up. She puts this together, in all honesty. This is her baby.
It'll be a good time. More details coming. I promise.
Taryn Mack.
Taryn Mack. Woo! Here, give me this.
So every
Taryn
year, our ALC nominates a cultural icon. So our 2025 ALC had to do the nominations because they're due at the end of the year. And this year, Taryn Mack was nominated because of A, she just exemplifies every single one of our core values, but B, she holds us accountable in the Facebook group, getting us excited for 411s and accountability. We realized usually we like to announce it at our award ceremony, but if we waited, you would have 9 days to decide if you can make it. So we wanted to award you today. You do get a trophy at the actual event. And we also want to welcome everybody. We already bought a table, so we at least have 10 seats secured. If you want to go and support Taryn and the other Cultural Icon Award winners, email Gwen. She will take care of getting you seated. So let's give a huge round of applause.
Very well deserved.
Yes, very well deserved.
Yes.
You've got mail. Have you checked your mailboxes recently? Some of y'all got Christmas presents on top of the mailbox. And your envelope or your folder is starting to bust at the seams. Some of you have mailboxes at both locations. So if you aren't sure, email Adrian. Most of those were requested Like, hey, sometimes I do have clients drop off stuff at Carlisle, and sometimes I have them drop them off here. So if you're not sure, email Adrian, but check your mailboxes, please.
We will be doing a mailbox clean out, anything that's in there, like, you know, the end of next week. Like, yeah, that's why we do
Yes, check it.
reminders. That's why we do reminders. We know you forget. If you don't know where your mailbox is, let me know. We'll make sure that you
We'll
know.
help you.
We'll make sure you know where it is. But we are going to do a mailbox clean out. Sometimes people get gift cards in there, like your clients send you things, and so you don't want to lose out on, you know, special little gifts that you might get. Yeah.
Painting is coming, likely the week of March 16th. I will keep you posted on exact date as we get closer to time, but in the small group room, this is what it's going to kind of look like. Carolyn Plummer will be here on Friday. She's going to start picking out some paint colors. She'll be back to then start testing some on the walls to see what she likes to go with the theme of the office and the furniture that she's buying. So you're going to be seeing that happening. When they actually paint the wall, I will be sure to email you so that way you know if scent bothers you, you know, I'll probably just don't come in that day. If you're all right with it, you're welcome, but know that that area will be kind of taped off for the painters. We're going to try our hardest to schedule it on a Friday. So that way it has the weekend to dry and that paint smell to come down, but I can't fully guarantee that I can make that happen. So I just appreciate your patience during that process. As soon as I have that secured, I'll keep you posted, but we're really excited for that small group space to finally come together. Ooh, do we have time? All right.
It's your call.
Speedy Gonzalez. So have any of you heard about the Hemingway effect? No? So the Hemingway effect is when activity drives motivation. So how many of you show up to do lead gen and you're like, I just can't bring myself to do it? Like you just don't want to do it. So you start getting on your computer and you start looking at your CRM, or maybe you start checking email and you just never, the next thing you know, 8 hours goes by and you never do it. But I want you to think about a time when you said, F it, I'm going to pick up the phone and I'm going to call one person. And then you make that phone call and you're like, you know what? That wasn't so bad. I'm going to make another phone call. And then you're like, you know what? I'm going to send a text message out to 5 different people. And then next thing you know, 2 hours go by and you hit your contact goal for the day. And it's because as you had activity, your motivation increased. And so the guilt that we have is we tend to wait until we're motivated to do something. But we have to take action in order to find the motivation. And I'm going to tell you a quick story. So my daughter Kinsley, she's my redhead, she's my feisty one. But super, super kind at heart. But she definitely, you know, she gives me a run for my money. And she was not doing good in school. So she's in only 4th grade and she was struggling across the board. She was struggling in reading, writing, math. If they had a science grade, she probably wasn't doing well in that either. And so we started to work with her and we're like, okay, we're going to get her a tutor, because I don't know if any of you have done 4th grade math recently. It is not the 4th grade math that I did. And I was like, I am not the right person to be teaching her this. So we decided we're going to work on one area and just focus on that for now, because we also didn't want to feel like we were ripping her childhood away. I want her to have some fun in the evenings, but also some discipline. So we get her a math tutor. She has 2 sessions, 2 half-hour sessions. And next thing you know, she brings home a math test. And when she went from below basic to proficient, just under advanced. And then her reading test started coming home and she went from basic to advanced. And I thought, what in the world is going on? And then I realized it's the Hemingway effect. She had someone help her get over the hump in math and explain math to her in a way that makes sense. And her confidence and motivation in the rest of her schooling career skyrocketed. And now doing homework doesn't feel like a chore. She most of the time gladly sits down and does it, and her scores have just been through the roof. And I think that's a great example of how we can use that in our business. Just focus on one thing, check off one thing on that to-do list, and you're going to see that motivation go through the roof. So that's the Hemingway effect. So the next time you don't feel like doing something, I want you to think of Kinsley and how she was able to go from below basic to advanced because she just started doing the one thing. You can do it too. That's the coaching corner.
Love it.
Love it.
It
Next slide.
sort of piggybacks off what Jamie was saying about Ignite too. Like it's
I
sort
love
of
that.
it's sort of that same, like just focus on one thing and then activity begets activity. Like
Think
yeah.
about it. It's like health and exercise and dieting, all the things. It's when the scale starts to go down, when you start to get more motivated to eat healthier. But nobody wants to go to the training Tuesday and go for the fruit salad, right? Like you want to go for the cookie tray.
Yeah.
Yeah. Action creates motivation.
Love it.
Next slide, tech corner.
I'm going to give you just a quick piece of info. How many of you love DocuSign? DocuSign.
Like love it.
DocuSign. Love
Like
it.
Married
to it. It's your best friend. So many of you know that a while ago we had partners join the Keller Williams International family, Stone Point Capital, who happen to be owners of Lone Wolf. Anybody familiar with Lone Wolf? Does that name sound familiar, right? Yeah. So there is a transition coming in the near future. It will be Q2, but I wanted to preemptively bring it to you as a team and just give you a little insight. We are going to be transitioning from DocuSign being linked into our command accounts to a very specific version of Lone Wolf that will be specific to KW Command. So even if you're using Lone Wolf now at any level, it will be similar to that, but this is going to be just a seamless companion inside of Command that will be where we keep our documents. You may still keep DocuSign. It just won't be part of your tech fee. Some of you now don't use DocuSign, right? Some of you use .loop, zip forms. I mean, you guys, it's still your business. You can run it how you want, but just know that as Q2 gets closer, there will be transition into Lone Wolf Transact as part of your command platform. Questions? Do it.
So, are there any videos and stuff
Not-
about this?
Not yet. Yep, not yet. And if anybody was part of KW when they made the transition from .loop to DocuSign, you might still have some PTSD from that. And that's fair. That's totally fair. They have opted this time to, last time it was like literally a week for the transition. This time they're giving us like months for the transition to happen, and they realize that this needs to be done very methodically. So as I or the next Market Center tech trainer are made aware of the steps that are coming from George Kelly, our regional tech trainer, we 100% will keep you guys in the loop and give you anything that they give to us. Yeah.
We'll absolutely have the training and the support.
Absolutely.
And just remember, you can keep DocuSign. It will still connect to Command. So you don't have to rip off the Band-Aid and in spring market, start using Lone Wolf.
Nope.
Yeah, that's what I want everybody to hear is you don't
still have the
to,
freedom to use what you want.
Yes.
Yep.
So to ask a loaded question.
I may have a loaded answer. I might.
You might, Robert, you might. So the Lone Wolf, this new package, software package, is it more intuitive than DocuSign?
I don't know.
We haven't even had access.
There are people right now that are beta testing it. Saeed, many of you might know Saeed. He's a tech trainer in our region. He does trainings for us every once in a while. He's a great guy. He has a beta version that he is working through it. And then he's reporting back to the powers that be and letting them know what's working and what's not. So again, as we are given information, but I just didn't want anyone to be blindsided. If you start hearing this term, Lone Wolf Transact will be specific for KW Command.
We just didn't want you to hear it on the street.
Yeah.
Before us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think a lot of you are going to be really happy because as many calls as I get about DocuSign, like I think you guys are going to be really excited about it. So
Lord, let's hope.
yeah, let's hope so. All right.
Let's hope.
Next up,
let's bring
Wealth
up
panel.
our wealth building panelists. Come on up. Not all at once now.
Yep.
Yes, just say words. It's real casual.
if you can, this is the mic. We just have it mic'd. We just have it magnetic on here. It is. And so you're not holding a little team.
Where did Gary go? Where's Gary? Gary's MIA.
Exactly.
Where's Gary? Gary!
And my second one is trying to.
You ready?
Make a decision on too long. So my one in college is doing amazing. And my second one, we're gonna see
Men and women?
I guess. That's what I want to. It's my comfort zone, please.
All right.
It's so exciting.
Do you want to explain to them the QR code?
Oh, yes. We have something really cool that we learned at Women's Mastermind. How many people are at Women's Mastermind event? So
You were allowed.
You could have come, we allowed it. We made exceptions for the 5 of these guys.
I think it was Amber. Was Amber the one that did
Yes.
the part of her presentation?
Yes.
So she had this thing where like you could scan the QR code, it would ask you a question, and then the answers you typed in form like a word cloud, and we can have it on the screen. So if you guys want to like choose that, it would just be kind of cool to see what some of the answers are.
Yes. Are you able to pull up that screen? Yeah. Yep. All right, so today we've got Ben Espenshade, Gary Muccio, Jenny, and Damaris, and they're all here to talk about their different journeys through wealth building. So my goal today was to have folks at different levels of investing who also invest a little bit differently, because oftentimes as real estate agents, when we go to investing classes, we only hear about how to invest in real estate, and there are other buckets. So that way you can A, one day retire and get off the hamster wheel of sales, and B, live the life that you want to live. And so we're going to ask a variety of questions. I always like to tell my panelists the questions that were sent to you yesterday are a guide. As questions from the room come up or as the conversation naturally flows, I may not ask a specific question because I may like the direction that we're going instead. So it's all about what the room needs. So what we'll do is we'll start from here and just work our way back. First, just how long have you been investing?
So we took like an untraditional route to investing. My first property that we bought that we lived in was a foreclosure. We lived there a few years, sold it, and we repeated that pattern like 5 times.
Oh, wow.
So before I knew what house hacking was, we were essentially living that because Jamie likes to move a lot. So that's kind of how we started. And I think you can relate to this. When we started investing with house hacking, all the rental we have, we did not have a lot of disposable income. So my first house that we house hacked, we did it with Jamie's 401k. Like, so, and I say that because I think one of the things that I felt held me back was just waiting to have enough money. And I was also in the beginning afraid of non-traditional financing tactics like hard money. Now, like the Dauphin team, they have like hard money options. I was afraid of that route, but I'm no longer afraid anymore. But we closed on a rental last year, and hopefully we'll have 2 more this year. And the way we funded that one is we took a home equity line of credit out of our house. We purchased the property in cash, we fixed it, refied, and paid ourselves back. So we essentially borrowed from ourselves to buy this rental, and it was an in-house listing from the Shannon team. So, yeah, but I say that to say that when we started from the beginning, we didn't have a lot of disposable income. We kind of just used what we had.
Great. I want to start by saying that I feel like a total imposter up here among these 3 powerhouses. I've only been investing for 6 months. My husband and I bought our first investment property 6 months ago, so we are brand new to this.
Round of applause.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. It's been really exciting. I want to just say a little bit about our journey really briefly, because I know there's only one question, but 5 years ago when I got into real estate, we had no money for investments, let alone college savings was our big first investment for our kids. We have 3 kids. Our oldest one was about to go into her freshman year of high school. And my daughters in particular are very ambitious. And in middle school already had their mind set on their tracks that they wanted to go on in life. So my oldest one wanted to be an engineer. That hasn't changed. My middle one wants to go into to be a lawyer. She wants to go into pre-law. That hasn't changed. So my initial decision to get into real estate was because of their ambition and knowing that I had to change something in my life to provide for them in that way. And my goal was to be able to send them off to college without crushing debt, like a lot of us have lived under and through, and we've worked with buyers, I'm sure, that have had that crushing debt due to student loans. And so that was my first, that was my why getting into real estate initially. But as you know, over 5 years, a lot can change. And my life has changed dramatically. My savings has changed dramatically. We've been able to help our kids through college. We're in the middle of that now. But as you come up upon, like you were just saying, extra funds, you want to be smart with those extra funds. And we didn't have, for a long time in our marriage, did not have those decisions to make. We just were very intentional about living below our means, even when our means was very little. And we were content in that. But then when you start to come into more money, you want to be very wise about it. And then you start being able to think long term. And what can owning more real estate do for us? And how can that be a non-traditional way for us to retire or to provide for us in retirement? So 6 months into investing in real estate to provide for us in a non-traditional way in retirement in future years.
That's excellent. Congratulations to you. That's awesome. I had a very different path. Oh, sorry.
Yes. Yeah. The microphone's not for this audience.
Sorry.
It's for that audience.
Okay. I had a very non-traditional path. I was a dual career agent for about 10 years. So when I decided to go into real estate full time, I structured my income and savings exactly like I was a corporate employee. So, and to this day, I mean, I'm at a different point than all of you. I'm at the end, enjoying the retirement years, but, and the savings and the investments, but every commission check I got, I put 40% of that check into a savings account. And that 40% paid my quarterly taxes. And I wanted a 401k, just like I had in corporate America. So I don't know if you all know, there is a thing called an individual 401k. Not a SEP, not an IRA, an individual 401k, where you can contribute as an employer and an employee, and it reduces your taxable income. So you pay a lot less in taxes and you're paying yourself. And I started that immediately. And after 20 years, the growth was phenomenal. So every year my accountant would tell me, you can put in 56,000, you can put in 65,000. Then once I hit 55, you get the over 55 additional, you can put an additional 5,000 in on top of the 50 you could put in. So of that 40% that I said over here, there was the extra 55,000 to fund that 401k. So I lived off of 60% of my commissions, basically, and funded an individual 401k. So talk to your financial advisor about that. but the individual 401ks are really good. I wanted to just give you an idea. I thought I printed it here. Oh yeah, here it is. So like the contribution limits by age, if you're under 50, you can, depending on your income, you can put up to $70,000 into the 401k. Now, I realize you might not have an extra 70,000 to put in, but if you have 25,000 to put in, it will incrementally grow. And if you're in your 20s, I encourage you to do this, or even your 30s or early 40s. It's never too late. You will hit the $1 million mark, and you will be just shocked at how fast that money grows. And then when you're 50 years or older, or 60 to 63, it even goes up more, like 77.5 and 81.2. Now I realize that's a lot of money, $81,000. But if you're making $300,000 a year as a realtor, you should be able to put $50,000, $60,000 away into a 401k, and you get the tax break. So that was one thing that had leveraged me tremendously to be able to retire and just live the life I wanted to live, and be, my legacy was to be charitable. So I have my charities that I can fund and support, and it just makes me feel good that I can be living that while I'm alive instead of when I'm dead. I did invest in real estate 20 years ago. That was incredible. I, like Jenny, I was always self-employed. My husband was self-employed, so we never lived beyond our means. And I followed, who's that woman? Susie Orman. Not that I follow Susie Orman. I think she's a little radical sometimes in how much she wants you to have in savings, but I kind of took her process and said, okay, I'm always going to have 6 months of living expenses set aside in addition to my savings account. And my goal was to be financially free by 50. I hit it at 51, that I had no debt other than my monthly expenses. And I know people say leverage, like if my money's earning me 7% in the market and my mortgage is only at 5%, why pay off your mortgage? But when you're both self-employed and you don't know necessarily when you're going to have income coming in, it's very freeing to know you have no debt. So I think no debt is a really good thing. Focus on paying your debt down first before paying yourself. But investing was great. Rentals are great. I did what Damaris did. I had 3 rental properties, and then I had all this equity sitting in those rental properties. And I was afraid, like you were frightened with hard money. I was frightened with pulling equity out of properties to buy another one, but I did. So I bought my 4th property with no money out of my pocket by leveraging the other ones. And then this year, 2025, we sold them all, and they were all paid for. And it was really nice to see that after 20 years that you had, well over $1 million in inventory that was paid for. I remember Tim Costello, when I first started in real estate, and this is when you could buy a townhouse for $75,000. Tim always said, it's easy. Buy one property every year for $100,000, and in 10 years you have $1 million worth of real estate. And it's true. It's little pieces. You took the first step. You'll have probably 10 by the time your kids go to college, and that's your tuition payments. You know what I mean? So you really should. It's what we know best. And the reason I had money in the stock market and money in real estate, I felt more comfortable knowing values in real estate than I did on what's going on in the stock market. So
I appreciate that. Ben.
So I got my start investing in real estate kind of by accident. I didn't really grow up with a family that had financial literacy. We didn't have talks about money or anything like that. So it actually started kind of on accident, because I would watch a bunch of clients after getting into real estate do things like flips, and I would kind of learn from their mistakes a little bit on like, okay, well, I wouldn't do that if I did it. And then I took a continuing education class that really, I'm not sure what the prospect for it was, but the guy just pretty much just took questions like we are on how he started in real estate, how he got, he built his portfolio, what the Burr method, what all this stuff was. And when somebody teaches that's very relatable, it impacts you differently. Like, it's easy to listen to a lot of stuff on YouTube, or, now you're inundated with everything, but when somebody is doing it, and you can ask them like, okay, what would you do? What did you make mistakes? Like, he gave us his phone number afterwards. And then, I just kind of started small, and then refinance something. And then I got into investing in the stock market later, but it kind of was just by accident, just by learning from other people's mistakes.
I love that. I'm gonna write that down.
The other thing too, when you're investing in real estate, definitely own your properties in an LLC. The reason you want to own them in an LLC is like, do you yours in an LLC? Okay, so like if Jenny and her husband have, let's say, in their 401k, $750,000, and they have a property in their LLC. If anything happens or they're sued, the only thing the suer can get is what that LLC is worth. So if they own a property that's $250,000 and have a $200,000 mortgage, they only have $50,000 in equity. That's all they're at risk for. I had one investor, he opened an LLC for every individual property. So if he bought 123 Main Street, it was 123 Main Street LLC, 456 Main Street LLC. Now that's a lot of K1s to have your accountant do at the end of the year. So you got that aspect, but it's really important to own them in an LLC because as they're paid off, you have all this equity and you don't want to have your personal life. You don't want to be personally tied to what could happen there. You can also cover that liability with insurance. So you can have personal catastrophic policy, or you don't want to let your tenants know that. And every one of my tenants had to have insurance, a minimum amount of personal property and liability. I made them carry $500,000 worth of liability in the lease. Because if they had a party and their drunk friend fell down the steps and broke their neck, I'm listed on that policy as an additional insured interest. So I would go towards that policy first before it came to my policy that I have over all the properties. So it's really important how you structure your rentals as you get more and more because you're exposed to more liability. And there's a lot of good things, I'll share that offline with anybody who wants to start investing, how I structured my leases and some extra rules and regulations I had in place on my leases. And the additional insured interest on the insurance policy is really good protection. So you're building your wealth and you want to protect that wealth as much as possible.
Yeah, when you talk to whoever you get your insurance through, you should have a good insurance rep and you can tell them everything that you have and they should be recommending what products you should have to protect that wealth. I know Ben and I have an umbrella policy because anybody can sue you for any reason at any time. And people tend to think you have more money than what maybe you have. And so having those added protections are helpful. Tell us about a failure and what did you learn from it?
When we were doing this rental, we did not calculate our expenses properly. And one thing is when you are purchasing your first property, make sure you consider all your costs, like all the interest you're paying, the fees you're paying, your holding costs, and give yourself a little bit of room for repairs because stuff is expensive. And I think we gave ourselves a budget and I went over budget and I wasn't calculating right. At the end, we're still okay because we have about $50,000 in equity. But when I refinanced, I definitely expected to have more. I didn't do my numbers right. And that is something that I won't ever do again.
I love that. I mean, that's a great
lesson. But you have to make sure you calculate every single expense, all your holding costs. And then when you refinance, you can only take out 75%. So you got to make sure before you buy something, you consider that you're going to get about 75% of your equity back. I miscalculated my numbers. We were a little bit off, but we're still in the green. But in my mind, I expected to.
You were thinking the paycheck was going to be bigger.
It was much bigger, but it wasn't.
That's a really good add. Everyone invests with different reasons in mind. So some people like us, we're not investing right now and hoping for a ton of cash flow. We're holding right now. We have a little bit of margin to cover those expenses, like you're saying, that come up unexpectedly, but we're not looking to make a ton of cash flow right now. That's not the goal for us, but I know a lot of people do, where that maybe isn't a problem, but that's a really good point. Even when you're not looking to bring in a ton of cash flow every month yet, still create buffer rooms so that you have margins for when those unexpected repairs come up. I haven't been in it long enough to have a huge failure. I will say the one thing I probably regret a little bit is not doing it sooner. It sounds very cliche. There was a lot of fear. So if you've never done this before and you've been saving up money and you have an account, it's very scary to think about taking a huge chunk of that money and putting it into a property. And it was very scary for me. And Sinjin was a huge encouragement to me because he has, multiple investment properties. And he said to me, the first one's the hardest. So keep that in mind. It's very true. If you've done it before, you probably can relate to that. The first one's the hardest. You got to rip the Band-Aid off. But he also told me something that sounds really silly, but it was really helpful to me because we were about to write an offer on something and I was having a lot of fear. And he said, don't think of it like you're losing money. You can drive by that money whenever you want to. You can wave to that money whenever you want to. And I don't know what that did for my head, but that felt relatable and it calmed me down. So I was able to think, okay, I'm just moving my money from here to here, and now I can just go drive by it. And I do.
And there's that Hemingway effect again, right?
Yeah.
The hardest part is just getting started. But once you break through that barrier and you go, oh, I can do this, it's so much easier to keep going, like Gary.
Yeah, I agree with you. I was never that nervous about it, but I had to drag Greg kicking and screaming to buy that first one. And then I just said, we're buying another. And so I think I was fortunate. I had a great run of rentals. No one ever owed me a penny. I never had to do an eviction. I was very, very lucky, but we would renovate them as though we were going to live there.
Okay.
And so if I wouldn't live in my unit, I wouldn't rent my unit. And I think my biggest mistake was looking back when I see what people are renting things for today. I probably could have made more money. My rents probably were I thought they were high, but in hindsight, I think I was probably under market in some of my properties. But I had, tenants that were loyal. The money was in my bank account every month. So was it worth raising their rent $20 a month to get an extra $240 a year versus having it vacant for 1 month? I'd lose. So I should have raised rents every year, and I would raise them maybe every 3 or 4 years, but I had tenants that were 10 and 12-year tenants. So yeah, so that was I think my mistake was being probably the hearts here instead of, on the money, but it all worked out in the end. Sure. Yeah, so how if you have a loan on your car, the bank's on there as an additional insured interest, because if your car is totaled, the bank has to get paid off. Your homeowner's insurance has the mortgage company as an additional insured interest. They're an additional insured interest. You can be an additional insured interest on your tenant's policy. The best thing about it is I had one tenant that was slick and thought he never owed me any money, but he was a pain in the ass to collect from every month. But he left without owing me money. But I don't let them move in until I see the declaration page of that insurance policy and my name's on it. So he thought, okay, I satisfied him. I'm canceling my renter's policy. Well, I got the cancellation notice in the mail because I was listed as I get contacted on anything that happens with this insurance policy. So when he canceled, I got the cancellation notice. Call him up. You packing your things because you're in violation of the lease. You got to get out unless you renew your insurance. And so he realized he was caught, and then so you have to be on there as an additional insured interest to know what's going on with that. And if you have to go against it, if there is an accident, then you're on there.
That's very helpful.
So I would say the biggest mistake I had was when I started on early on, I didn't have a lot of education on it. I kind of bit off as much as I could and then tried to figure out how to chew it. But my thing was kind of like, okay, well, so I started flipping properties. And I didn't really know the ins and the outs of refinancing, getting cash out. I could have leveraged more had I known those things. But my idea was like, oh, well, I want to stockpile as much money as I can. And then eventually I will transition to rentals and things like that. So I think even though I don't consider that a failure, that might've been my biggest failure because I could have leveraged some of that stuff and kept some of those properties. Also knowing what kind of real estate you want to invest in. Flipping is great, and you don't have to deal with tenants, things like that, but it takes a lot of mental strain, takes a lot of follow back, it takes a lot of babysitting. And I found 2 or 3 years into flipping, that it was easier for me to sell properties to flippers than it was to actually flip the properties. So I made that transition early on because it was just a lot of work.
That's good clarity. And do you still do Airbnb?
We have one Airbnb.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you recommend that to the room?
Yes. So the cash flow itself. So I started early with just single family houses. And then I didn't come from a lot of money. So I just started with one. Once that one kind of increased in equity enough, then I would buy another one, do a cash out refi, and just kind of slowly build it. Now that I have multiple units, there's a lot more cash flow in short-term rentals, but there's definitely a lot more work, a lot more moving parts. So I would recommend it for sure, but I think sometimes is the juice worth the squeeze? There's midterm rentals, long-term rentals, and short-term rentals. It's definitely worth the squeeze if you have the right people in place.
I love that. So yeah, right people, and you just have to determine like what's your capacity, right? Like what do you have time to do or what do you not have time to do? And is the stress worth the added income? And it's okay if the answer is no, right?
I think the other thing too, multi-units are more profitable. I wouldn't say that's a mistake I made, but I learned that my third or fourth one was a multi-unit, and that was the most profitable. Because in one building you were getting a lot more rent. So if you can find multi-units, that's always a good thing.
What question did I not ask you that I should have asked you?
I think we should talk about our buy boxes because I think the four of us have very different buy boxes. And if I am the
What's
rookie
a buy
here,
box?
well, I'm the rookie. I am the rookie, but I will explain to you what a buy box is. I learned this. Buy boxes are like your intention, what you want to buy and the criteria that you want in the home that you have. And so Brittany just said it well, that we all have different capacities. We all have different lifestyles. We all have different goals. And so it's important for you not to think of investing as one type of person where they're doing the BRRRR method and they're flipping or, buying multi-units. Not everybody is cut out for that in their season of life. And so I think we all have very different buy boxes, but our buy box was very simple. So if you're like me, you might relate to this. We wanted as simple as possible. We wanted to avoid a basement if possible, just because those can be very expensive and time consuming and costly. We wanted something with first floor living because our renter pool would be bigger. So we figured it would be easier to rent with first floor living in it. And we wanted it to be within a certain radius of our house, knowing that we might get called over since we don't have a property management group in place. And we wanted it to bring us in a certain amount of income so that we don't have to buy 50 units. We can buy probably 3 doors and get to our goals for our net worth over the next couple of years. So that was our buy box. How about you, Mara?
So my goal was to have enough money to pay for my kids' college. So I wanted something in an area that didn't have a lot of turnaround, and I want things that are low maintenance. I don't want, like, if you work with investors, they'll tag them from A to D. I'm like a B and a C area buyer. Okay. And I want something when I purchase it that it has room to add value, meaning I can do a kitchen, a floor, kitchen and bathroom and add equity. I don't want something that I have to take it down to the studs. So I want something that I pretty much can just do some cosmetics and add 50K in equity. And anything that I buy is for the long-term hold, because again, I wanted to fund future my retirement. But one, I have 3 daughters and colleges is very expensive right now. So my goal, anything that we're getting is with the goal that it's gonna pay for the girls' college. So we have a townhome now. I do like the townhome living. This next one that we're looking at, I think I want to start buying single family or multi-unit. That's kind of my buy box, but I do have to buy something that has room to add equity. Like, I don't want to buy anything retail right now. I want to be able to buy it, refi in a few months and get something out of it so that I can fund the next one.
Good. I love that.
I didn't know what a buy box was. That shows my age, probably. All but one of mine were, I just fell into. Like, I just knew people who were selling. One was in estate. I work with a lot of lawyers and I do their estate work. So I did the market analysis. We had an appraisal, and I said to the person, this is what you would net if I give you that. Will you sell me the house? And ask the attorney if it was okay. And the attorney's like, it's up to them. And I would always give like maybe 5,000 more. And then most of the times the estates were like, yes, I just want rid of this. The one, I even cleaned it out for the guy. He was in Maryland. He showed up for settlement, and he wanted his uncle's records. And so only one I bought retail. So I think maybe it became my buy box, but I just kept my eyes open for things that I knew were off the market. The one I bought in Camp Hill, we were 2 weeks away from closing. It was an estate, and it was a young girl. She was only 20 years old. Her father had passed away. She was the only living survivor. And she only had enough money to pay his mortgage for another month. I told her, I'll pay his mortgage and you can pay me back, because there was equity in the home. And the buyer bought a car 2 weeks before closing, couldn't get a mortgage. So I said to her, you were going to net this. How about I give you another 5 on top of that, and I'll buy the house from you, instead of letting it fall through and putting it back on the market. So that's how I got one of them. And so I think just keep your eyes and ears open of what you hear somebody's thinking of selling, or, even when you go to your buyers. I know Bill Hench just bought one. He went to somebody called him to sell the house, and he said, what are you looking for? And I'll buy it from you. So, and you got to be careful, because you're more knowledgeable about real estate than your seller, perhaps. So you got to make sure you're not cheating your seller in any way. You got to have ethics. But I think sometimes you don't know what people's motivation is, and they may just want done with this, and you guys talk about, your team
Absolutely.
asks the buyers and sellers motivations all the time. So I think it's that same thing in your buy box. So it's not just, what's on the market that I can buy. We're in a business to know what's for sale.
I'll add to that. The first property management company that I worked with, he told me every listing appointment he went on, his first question to himself was, should I be buying this? And he had a huge portfolio. And so all of you should have that same mindset, because you always have access to cash. Don't let cash be the thing that gets you in the way. Ben?
My buy box, if I started over, it would definitely be something for value add or something. I would have a bigger goal in mind. I think kind of what I see a lot of young investors or early investors doing is they will look for whatever sticks to the wall, as good of a deal as they possibly can, without kind of like an end goal. So my end goal was always like, I'm never going to make $1 million a year. So let me try to buy something that will leverage up to another property. So for me, I only bought single family homes, or I did buy a 2-unit that was in B, maybe A areas. And I didn't really make any cash flow whatsoever, but I knew they would increase in value better than anything in a C neighborhood. So that's what I would do if I was starting over, as I'd buy stuff that increased in value, because an extra $150 a month is not going to change your life. But the appreciation, like my first rental property I sold last year, I bought that in 2018 for $90,000 and I sold it for $220,000. So, and then I did a cash out refi, and I turned that into 3 other properties. So the appreciation is what I would suggest. I mean, it's not for everyone, I guess, but I have no interest in owning like 1 bedrooms at $600 or $700. The juice isn't worth the squeeze at that. But for me, it was always about the appreciation, and eventually it'll just pay off.
I love that. And so we're going to pull up some of your answers here, and you can still respond, but what was holding you back? So this is from the room. What's holding you back from real estate investing? So somebody up here says spouse. Maybe we'll ask Gary how he got Greg to play along. Liquid cash, money. So 3 out of the 5 up there have to do with funds, and then dealing with tenants. So any advice? Yeah, Ben. Yep.
So the buy box is like a general term of like, okay, well, that's what I buy, but that's not really what it is. It's more or less just the decision is already made. If I've thought through the entire process, I know what it's going to cash flow. If I find one, I'm going to buy it. So that's kind of the buy box to me. So for me, the money thing is, once you already know, you've already researched, you've already done your due diligence, the money isn't the issue, I don't think. I bought one time where I didn't have the money, and I went to a listing appointment and I asked her if she would sell or finance it, and she said yes. And I bought it with no money down. So knowing what your buy box is and what it's worth and what it can be worth, I think is super important.
And I think with money, work with the like I did everything with Mid-Penn Bank. I built a relationship and they gave me money. All the, they required me to have a checking account there that all my rents went into, and they pulled the payment out every month. And I would buying houses with closing costs of less than $1,000 with Mid-Penn. They would just give me another loan, give me another loan, give me another loan. Two things on the back end, since I'm done with my rental properties, then you're starting, that I would say I wish I would have calculated a little bit better. You get this nice non-cash expense every year. So you can offset your rents with a thing called depreciation. But when you sell, you have to recapture all that depreciation. And when I sold, my properties were completely depreciated. So I had to recapture all this depreciation, plus they doubled in value. Almost every one of them doubled in value, which was nice. And I collected rent. But I had to talk myself through these huge capital gains taxes the past 2 years when I sold everything, because I had to look and say, okay, but did I make more money over the 20 years than, so there's some big tax hits at the end, because I didn't want to kick the can down the road. I didn't want to do 1031 like kind exchanges. I just wanted to be done. I want to enjoy.
You want to retire.
I want to retire. So just keep that in mind. And the last thing that I did that I wish I would have done, so when it comes to mistakes, I financed one of them for 2 years, one sale. Not only did I get the sale price, but the interest income I made for those 2 years was an extra $12,000.
Wow.
Which was, so I held a mortgage. I trusted the guy. I knew him well, known him for 15 years. He said, look, I'm just a little cash shy. I'll give you 30,000. Can you hold the rest for 2 years? So I was getting interest payments every month on top. He didn't negotiate with me. I said, I want 180. And then I got an extra like 12 or 13,000 on top of that in the 2 years by holding, because it was paid for, so I could hold the mortgage.
That's
so
awesome.
when they're paid for and you want to sell it, consider, like, again, this is all back end stuff. We're talking about buying, but I think, the benefit of having them for 20 some years, you'll be in a position that yours will be paid for, and maybe you just want to use them as annuities and collect mortgage payments on them, so.
Well, and maybe that's an answer to finding the money, is find someone like Gary who will hold the mortgage.
Yeah, you can hold the mortgage.
Right? You can ask for seller financing. And Judah's not here now, but you've got 2 people that I know of in our world that do hard money loans. So Simple Lending, which is Jenica, who works for Dave Hook. And then, oh goodness, why can't I think of the name? I'm seeing Judah and Anthony. Connect with them. They've got connections to funds. Lizette. Yeah. So maybe that's what I'm thinking of. Yeah.
I think that could be a whole different class, to be honest, because speaking about money is how to fund the deal. That's a whole different world. Fear held me back, always thinking I'm not going to have enough. But one thing, and I hope a ton of investors, if you get the right deal, you can almost buy without any money if you do hard money. Hard money, and then there's like, and you can, even if you just have like save up 20K, and it sounds like a lot, but if you are intentional, and I say save 2 sales that you make this year, but honestly, hard money, I was really afraid of it. I didn't use it, but I'm probably going to use it for my next deal. If you learn the tricks of financing, you can almost buy a deal with no money out of pocket. But there's tricks to it. I'm not, I don't know it, but I do it all the time with my clients. I don't understand it, but there's a way. There's a way. Yeah. I sell investment properties all the time, and my clients are so broke. And I'm like, how do you do it? Like, this is crazy. They're like leveraging first and second position, and then in a few months they refinance it. And I will always get stuck on the fees. Like, it's too much money. But at the end of the day, they say, well, I have an asset out of it. I might, for the first few months, you might have this monthly payment, you refinance it, and it's an asset that in a few years you have all this equity. So it's worth us having a class just on having non-traditional financing.
Going with that too, I just think a lot of us think we have to understand all of it in order do it and to start, and you don't.
Right.
I'm proof of that. I think you're proof of that. And I think the great thing about Keller Williams is we're surrounded by so much knowledge and experience. And so if you create your buy box and what would be ideal for your situation, your family, your goals, your future goals, and you can create, like, if I ever found a property that matched this description and had this criteria, I'd want to buy it. Then there's people around here that will help you figure it out. There's lenders, there's hard money lenders that can help walk you through that, or amazing experienced investors who can help you with figuring out what you could do with your current situation. So don't be afraid of trying to understand it all or try to figure it all out before you jump and take the leap.
Just like in real estate.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like in
And
real
you know
estate.
it, like, give yourself credit. You sell real estate every
Yeah.
day.
Right.
It's buying real estate, only you're the buyer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it a good deal or isn't it? Any other questions from the room? I know we've kept you a little late. Was this helpful? Who's going to buy an investment property this year? Oh, okay. I love that. I love that. Well, let's give them a round of applause. Thank you so much. And those waters are up there for you if you are thirsty. Thank you.
I know. He really is. I can organize
That would be
finance one.
huge.
Because I think I have like two, I have a few on my phone, like hard money guys.
Yeah, I would love that if they
Do
would
you
walk
want,
them
do you
through.
want it on a Tuesday or should we do it on a Saturday?
Tuesday. I'll like book them for April
Okay.
if they can.
Thank you.
I don't know.